school where high achievers and spiritual seekers come to embody, explore, and express their divinity, where I talk all things health, wellness, life, and spirituality. And so let's dive in. Hello, 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 Mosaic Souls. Hey, Mosaic Souls, this is Rachael Alexander, artist and Mosaic Soul mentor, aka spiritual teacher and transformational coach with flair. And today I wanted to talk about how to clear blocks that's preventing you from accessing your innate divine gifts, right? And so I want to just kind of preface this and caveat by saying that a lot of times when we aren't tapping into our innate gifts, right? Whether that's, you're an innate teacher, an innate healer, an innate artist, an innate, counselor, an innate, there's just so many different gifts that we have, right? But when you aren't tapping in or accessing these powerful gifts that we already embody on a divine level, a lot of times it's because we have certain blocks just within our human psyche and just within our human conditioning that's preventing us from accessing them and from actually living them out in our lives, right? So I want to give about 5 different ways and tips to help you clear the pathway, clear the channel to allow your divine gifts to flow through you with more ease and effortlessness and more joy and passion and excitement. So that you can really start to feel more fulfilled and do the work that you feel called to do in the world. And when I say do the work that you feel called to do in the world, I don't necessarily mean career oriented. Career might be a part of that, but when I say show up, basically show up as a divine being that you truly are, whether that be showing up in your family the way that you want to be showing up authentically, whether that be showing up in your career, whether that be showing up in your intimate relationships, whatever way that you want to show up in the world, utilizing your divine gifts is a part of that, right? We automatically think that if we have a divine gift that we're supposed to monetize it or something like that, and that's not always the case. But because our souls came here for a plethora of different experiences. So I just want to caveat by saying that when I say doing the work that you feel called to do, I mean just showing up in the world as the divine, true essence soul that you are in all forms and various vehicles of expression, as I like to call them, right? Okay, so the first one is to release self-doubt, releasing self-doubt. Self-doubt, as my divine team has shared with me several times over and over, our non-physical friends, is one of the biggest things that can hold you back from accessing and tapping into your own gifts, right? And it's easy to say, okay, well, just release self-doubt. But that is number one. Like when you doubt yourself, you second guess yourself. What you're doing is you're interjecting a different vibration than the vibration of your actual gift or potential that you're wanting to access. You're saying, well, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe this is wrong, or maybe I'm a fraud, or maybe I'm an imposter, or maybe I can't really do this as well as I think I can, XYZ, right? So self-doubt is really sort of like a block. It creates this sort of energetic mismatch from you accessing the divine innate potential that you have within you, right? So learning to release self-doubt is tip number 1. And really, one of the hugest ways that you can start to do that is to, step number 2, is to take the first step, right? Take imperfect action, right? So whether that's you are feeling called to do tarot readings for other people, or you're feeling called to, start your own garden and you've never gardened before, or if you're feeling called to start a new career or enter into a new relationship, or start a new business venture, whatever that is, right? And you're going to be accessing different gifts that you have, right? Learning to take that first step of imperfect action is so important, right? Because this helps you to release self-doubt and sort of approach it with sort of like a childlike fervor, right? Like let go of needing to be perfect at all times, especially when you're not charging for what you're doing. And even when you do begin to start charging for it, hopefully by then you've garnered enough confidence and self-assurance and awareness of yourself to where you can show up authentically and do the work that you feel called to do. But taking that first step and taking imperfect action, taking consistent imperfect action is what's going to help you to release a lot of that self-doubt, because the more you get experienced at it, the more that you do it, the more the fears and the nagging, assumptions and societal, influences that kind of plague your mind and your emotions start to fall away, because you're getting more and more acquainted and familiar with this gift that you have, your innate divine gift that you have, right? So that's the second tip, is to sort of take the first step and then take imperfect action. Okay. The third one is to, I'm looking down at my iPad as I have them written down. Heal perceptions of what you will lose or gain by operating in your gifts. I'm going to repeat that. Heal perceptions of what you will lose or gain by operating in your gifts. Now, this is super, super crucial, because this requires a mindset shift. This requires sort of a framework shift, a model of reality shift, a different belief system, a system of belief, a new program to be rewritten, right? So healing perceptions of what you will lose or what you will gain basically means to let go of attachment, right? Letting go of this idea that you have to be perfect, letting go of this idea that you will lose something if you start operating in your gift, or that you will also gain something. Of course, you're going to gain something. Of course, you're going to lose something. That's just natural, like law of polarity, law of creation and destruction, right? That's just inevitable and innate within everything that we do. But in general, when you let go of attachment and you let go of this need to know if something will turn out a specific way, you will allow the gift to flow through you without needing to say that your well-being is going to be assured or not, regardless if you do or don't do this activity. You see what I'm saying? So when you put so much pressure on yourself to say, well, I have to do X, Y, and Z in order for my well-being to be okay, then you put yourself at a disadvantage and you create a block from that gift to flow through you effortlessly. So let's say, for example, I had a past client who wanted to start doing like more like readings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to say hi if you're joining me live. Hey, what's your name? So I had a past client who was wanting to get into like spiritual readings and things of that nature. And they were really struggling with second guessing themselves and being able to show up authentically and do the readings and in a way that felt like they could sort of just channel the energy for flow and effortless ease through them. And a lot of times they were so wanting the message and the readings that they were doing to be a specific way, that they were blocking the flow from coming, because they were second guessing themselves. And then they were saying that, well, the reading must show up in a certain way in order for it to be of value to the person that they're giving a reading for. And so, like, for example, in that instance, when you do that, when you put so much pressure and say that, this must show up this way, then the message won't be clear, because you're skewing the actual flow of like the divine wisdom that's within you, right? Rather than just letting the message flow and be what it is. In that instance, you're like mucking up the flow by putting all your human expectations and self-doubt and a host of other like social conditioning onto this gift, which is mucking it up. You see what I'm saying? So that's an example of how it can show up. It can show up in many other ways, and just depending on what your gift is, right? Whether you are wanting to teach or counsel or heal or whatever, right? So really learning to heal your perceptions of what you will lose or what you will gain in regards to interacting with your divine gift. The whole purpose of interacting with your divine gift is really to show up in the world as an authentic soul, divine self that you truly are, right? Your higher self embodied in human form, right? And the more you do that, automatically, the more health, well-being, abundance, the more fulfillment and joy and excitement and passion you're going to feel. That's sort of inevitable of the things that you will gain as you tap into your divine potential, as you tap into your divine, sorry, there's like something flying off my face. Tap into your divine potential and tap into your unique gifts, right? But when you are putting all these expectations or saying, this is what I stand to gain or this is what I stand to lose, then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage and you're creating a block from even accessing that divine power, right? Like another gift is, I have another friend who has the gift of like being able to speak with animals, right? Like, not that they like monetize this gift, right? But like being able to like speak with animals on a different level and being able to like energetically understand their level of communication, right? So that's like a different gift, right? And if my friend had said, okay, well, if I need to, what if I'm like making this up and they're not really talking to me? Or what if what if people think I'm crazy or all this other stuff? Then they would have shut off the ability to be able to hear their close pet friends, animal friends around them, to be able to interact with them in the way that their soul intended to. You see what I'm saying? So that's just sort of an example. So that's tip number 3, is to heal your perceptions of what you stand to lose or gain by operating in your divine gifts, okay? And so the 4th tip is to love yourself and let go of perfectionism. So I've already talked about this pretty much in length with the other one, so I'm just going to reiterate it. To love yourself through the process. You are a divine being, a unique, creative, energetic, powerful, non-physical being having a very temporary, beautiful human experience, right? And when you learn to embrace the fact that you are indeed a divine being having this very temporary but beautiful human experience, and embrace all the aspects of your humanity, the more you release and relinquish the need to be perfect, right? Because you know that being human is all about imperfections and embracing your imperfections. This goes back to tip number 2, is taking consistent imperfect action, right? And embracing your imperfections is what allows you to show up and just flow, right? Like, the idea of perfection in our society is just so overdone. Like there's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing as someone who has the perfect life or someone who has it all. Like we're all here exploring many different tapestries, many different experiences, many different explorations and things that we're here to explore. So in that exploration, like let's say you're gonna go on a hike on a mountain or something that you've never gone on before. And let's say you do have a guide or something, or let's say you don't have a guide, but you just have like a map or something, right? There's gonna be times where maybe you get lost or you feel stuck or tired and you wanna take a break, or maybe you fall and trip over a branch that you didn't see. Like no journey is perfect, right? Like you came to explore and to see like this new pathway that you're going on a journey for. And if you start to look at your human life as that, like you're here for a plethora of different experiences, you're here for a plethora of different explorations, and to embody who you truly are, the more and more you release the need to be perfect, right? So tip number 4 is to really love yourself and let go of needing to be perfect and letting go of perfectionism, right? And the 5th and final tip is to really stop comparing yourself to others or looking outside of yourself for validation, right? So this really, really is so key. Like a lot of times especially if you're like trying to do something as in a career format, even if you're not trying to do it in career format, we as human beings have a tendency to compare ourselves to others and see how we, rank up to other people to say, okay, well, I'm excelling because this person is doing that. And so like we put people on pedestals, right? Like we say, oh, this person is like great at this, so I have to be at least at their level or better in order to succeed, right? Like we have a tendency to do that. And so what that tends to do is that negates how you and your soul, your unique soul, decided to incarnate in your human experience. Let's say you have a similar gift of like teaching or whatever to another person, right? The way that you teach is going to be completely different than the way someone else teaches, right? Or the way that you enter in healing, or the way that you enter in a counseling type of relationship, or the way that you communicate is going to be different than how other people communicate. So when you compare yourself to others, it's like comparing apples and oranges. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even compute because they're completely two different fruit trees, right? Like why would you even compare them? Like they came for their different beautiful expressions, as did you, right? So the more and more you compare yourself to others, the more and more you create an energetic block from you even expressing and showing up in the world in the way that your soul intended for you to show up. You see what I'm saying? So learning to let go of looking outside of yourself for validation. And I used to struggle with this a lot too in my artistry. I remember a lot in in my teens and early 20s and stuff, I used to really struggle with this, always needing other people to tell me that my art form was really good, right? Or needing other people to tell me that, you know, what I do in the world matters. Who the fuck cares what other people think, you guys? Like, I've learned in my own experience, right? And flow of what feels gonna let go of what doesn't. But the more and more you let go of other people, needing other people's validation for your divine gifts, the more and more you show up authentically in being your true self and the way that your soul decided to express itself through you in your human form, right? Like, so we're all unique. So when you compare yourself to others, or you look outside of yourself for validation and say, hey, you know, what do you think of this? It's okay to get like feedback from other people, but take the feedback with what is that? A hint of salt, right? Like a pinch of salt. Like, you don't take it as a completely face value. Oh, well, this person said that they didn't get value from what I said, so I'm just going to stop doing it. Like when I was doing readings, when I would do soul realignment readings, I had people, pretty much a lot of people who did readings got a lot of great stuff, but I had a couple people who said they didn't resonate with the reading that I shared with them. I'm like, oh, okay, that's totally fine. But did I say, okay, well, I'm not going to do readings anymore because that person didn't resonate. So, oh, woe is me. I'm a horrible human being. I don't know what I'm talking about. My reading was completely irrelevant. No, like that has nothing to do with me. Like I'm just going to be a channel through which the divine gift is flowing through me, right? Like in that instance, I'm just talking about a reading. It can show up in any other way too, right? Whether you're a singer or a dancer, or, a poet or a writer, or, whether you are a coach or whatever you do, right? Whatever your way your gift shows up in the world, right? Let go of needing other people's validation to allow you to show up authentically as a true person that you're meant to be, right? Like if I did that, like I would have stopped doing what I was doing a long time ago. I would have just I would have gave up trying to be an artist or being an artist or being a coach or anything like that had I tried to listen to other people and their perceptions of who and what I am. Not to say that I got a lot of bad feedback, but that's just a part of the game. Like everybody's gonna have their own, opinions of who and what they think you should be, right? But when you stand in the true divine being that you truly are, you're going to show up authentically and fuck whatever everybody else has to say because you're a divine being, right? You're a divine being having the human experience that you're here to have, and they're a divine being having the experience that they're here to have. Their experience has nothing to do with your experience in the sense that it should affect the way that you show up authentically in the world and bring forth your divine gifts in the way that your heart and soul intended for you to bring them through. You see what I'm saying? So let go of comparing yourself to others and let go of seeking outside validation for what you do. One of my favorite things that a good friend of mine said, and when I heard videos a long time ago, she's also a spiritual teacher, is she's talked about when you think about listening to the bird, like let's say you're out in nature and you're just hearing the birds chirp and they're singing and they're doing that tweet, 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 or in the morning or whenever you're out in nature, like the birds ain't sitting there thinking like, oh God, maybe I shouldn't tweet so loud because, the other bird is going to think there's something wrong with me. No, they're just here doing their little tweet, tweet, calling and flying. And they're not sitting here concerned about what the other birds are sitting there thinking about them, right? They're here to tweet and to call and to, whatever in nature. And the more that we get back to our true selves and get back to the true essence of who we truly are, the more that you're going to just show up authentically in the way that feels authentic and true to you, And that's what we're all craving, right? We're all craving that more joy and fulfillment and passion. And the more joy and fulfillment and passion comes when you start being true to your true self, right? So that's the whole point of these like clearing away of these blocks, is to be more true to who you truly are. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to do a quick recap of the 5 tips to clear away blocks from accessing your own innate, divine, powerful gifts. The first tip is to release self-doubt. The second tip is to take the first step and take consistent, imperfect action, right? The third one is to heal perceptions of what you will lose or stand to gain by operating in your divine gifts. The fourth step is to love yourself through the journey and let go of perfectionism. And the fifth step is to stop comparing yourself to others or looking outside of yourself for validation, right? So those are the 5 tips. I hope they have been helpful. And I'd really love to know from you, what step or tip really resonated with you as far as operating in your divine gift? That's the first part of the question. The second part is, what divine gift are you playing with currently in your life that you're looking to bring more forth into your life, right? What innate divine gift or potential are you looking to tap more into? Let me know in the comments below, and I love to hear from you guys. And as always, flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, because you are divine. You are a divine being, and your soul knows exactly what you've come to explore and experience while in human form. So, one real quick tidbit before I sign off is I am having our live event called How to End Efforting from my non-physical friends, my divine team, starting this Tuesday, I think this Tuesday. I put a link in the description box below to join the I Am Divine Mastermind. We're having monthly live events. So join me in the I Am Divine Mastermind to access that training amongst a whole host of other bonuses that I give. But it's divineearthschool.com/I am divine to join our live monthly events. So if you're looking to get more of this sort of higher consciousness information, definitely join me there. And if you're looking to work with a coach to help you really transform your life and really take some of what I'm sharing with you and really implement in your life and transform your life in a deeper, more meaningful way, visit me at divineearthschool.com/call to book a call with me and to see if working together is something that best both suits us together. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening and have a wonderful rest of your week. And remember, what you conceive is what you'll receive, what you expect is what you'll get, and however you feel is what will become real for you. So vibrate higher, and I will chat with you guys later. Peace, love, and light.